host, your master Lee.
And Lulu.
All right, well, the first time Halo Infinite trailer came out, I watched it by myself. You were at work or something, and I was like, whoa! What? Something was a little bit off about it. And it wasn't just me who felt that way. A lot of people felt like the graphics did not look next generation.
Oh.
And I think I know why now. The way they tried to design the visuals was going to take advantage of some of the hardware built-in properties, which means they didn't pre-bake the beautiful colors into everything. They're going to have light like shine on stuff to do that. But either they haven't implemented it or they realized they kind of effed up and they were like, okay, we hear you, fans. We're going to, in fact, we're going to actually take the game off our release list because it was supposed to launch with the Xbox and we're going to go fix it.
Oh.
I'm like, whoa. At the time, I actually could not believe my ears when I heard that.
Wow.
It's unheard of for a launch title like this big. This was going to help sell systems. In hindsight, it sounds like it was a good move because one is you can't even buy a freaking Xbox still. Like they're sold out. So like, what's the point of having a launch title when you can't even freaking get a console system?
Right.
But it really, I don't know. It was just kind of like the start of you developing respect for Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? It's like a game company that cared about what people think. This is like the second time that's happened too in the game industry where, remember the Sonic movie? We were watching the original character design and it was so ugly and the fans went crazy. Sometimes you can argue that fans, especially game fans, are a little too attached to their, you know, their loves, if you will. And they raised too much of a stink or too much of a trolls. But I would say for Sonic, it was a good thing. They had pulled the movie off the release list, went back, fixed the character, and it was so much better. So now
hopefully,
it's Halo's turn.
So this is it.
We're going to find out right now. Multiplayer reveal. I am curious. This has so many memories for me too, baby. This has so many memories for me, man. I tell you, growing up.
Halo is also one of the
biggies.
best.
Yeah, definitely one of the best out there.
Right.
By the way, if you want some cool commentary, check out my show.
And if you want some hotness, check out my fantasy show on my OnlyFans.
All right, and away we go.
A new day is upon us. A new generation built to fight.
Resolution sick.
Together, we are unstoppable. Are you ready?
Hoorah! Whoa, the lighting is looking a lot better with the visuals.
Ooh.
Grapple's still in, I like that. Everything's grapple these days.
Wow.
Oh, the visuals look a lot better. I think it's literally the way they did the lighting.
Nice.
Hello, let's do
God, this is just bringing back so many memories.
skewer.
Nice, I like that.
Does it like quickly grab or like
Looks like it. Looks like you can pull things to you, or you can pull you to it.
Right.
This was all about the game. The openness, the battles up in the air, on the ground. It's not like Battlefield where it's just too big. It felt very contained still.
The flag is ours.
Yeah.
Please call us at your earliest convenience.
Look, it's on my ass.
Woo! Whoa. Woo!
Wow,
Now,
they
show me
did a
what you
number on the visuals, man. It just looks so much better.
Wow.
Ugh.
Whoa! I can feel the fans are driving.
That just
I can
felt
feel
so
the
much
fans.
better.
I'm so happy.
Just the feeling of like being in a firefight and hearing the click of the gun, throwing it down, grabbing one off the wall.
My gunner's upside down and he's like laying in. I see kill assist, kill assist, kill assist.
Any pistol across any of the games.
I have to admit, when you first drive that Warhawk, it's the worst experience ever. I remember just playing this single player game, trying to figure out the controls. Such a nightmare. But once you master it, it's the best feeling. Yeah. It's got a funky drift to it, but like you can just slide. So good.
Well, what is Halo multiplayer? And for me, it boils down to this tight arena style combat and big team battle, this wide open, vehicle infused kind of combat. We're taking that awesome legacy or classic Halo combat experience and modernizing it in ways that'll feel fresh to old players and really exciting to new players. We're gonna give you great ways to customize your Spartan.
You know, watching this makes me nostalgic of working on games again. Yeah. Because a lot of what I would do is these kind of setup. When I was working on the marketing side of the business, I would set up these interviews and we talk about how the game was made, and there was such pride, like for the developers to talk about their work.
For sure.
Still build something that feels new.
We've tried to bring all these elements of legacy and really inject them into Halo Infinite, not just like in a way where you kind of won't notice it, where you feel like, oh, they really designed this to be a celebration of previous Halo, as well as an iteration of where Halo can go next.
At the same time, it was always scary to put developers in front of a camera because half the time they would just freeze up and don't know what to say. Because it's very stressful when suddenly you have the camera on you. Like just even as we do YouTube, you don't realize it.
True.
And they're used to, being behind the scenes.
Creating it.
Halo multiplayer arena matches, great. Halo, it's really about fair and balanced starts. So everybody's on equal footing when they come off the rip. And then once they start running around, it's about scavenging. It's about finding new toys and kind of developing your play style as you run through the match.
What makes Halo feel like Halo? I feel like the answer to that question is the Sandbox. Like, the Sandbox is Halo.
When we set out to look at Halo Infinite from a high level and the direction of what it is, there's lots of exciting things there because we really wanted to push what are the things that are true to Halo, but what are the things that fans haven't seen.
His title is Lead Sandbox Designer. How cool is that to have a title like that? I designed sandboxes. What does that mean? Like with real sand? No. Digital sand.
Would you do that, or could you go and get grapple to make sure that you swing yourself to the other side of a map to back cap a stronghold? We saw it as like another avenue of not just skill expression, but tactics for teams to coordinate around.
The exciting combinatory nature.
Wait a minute, is your grapple not a standard weapon then, or a tool?
Objectives is super amazing.
Looking at how the power-ups play, like your classic power-ups like the overshield and the active camouflage. For this title, what we're looking at, what we're excited for, is you pick that up and you choose when you activate it. It goes into your inventory. If you haven't used it and someone kills you in multiplayer, you drop that overshield and then they could take it, use it for themselves. That to me is very legacy, but we took the equipment side of it and modernized it. When it comes to the vehicles, we went in and decided.
Are you not like invisible?
Yeah, you have the ability to shield and invisibility.
Get blown off. There's different aspects of the vehicle that change how my vehicle handles now. And that's something that's brand new.
The other thing we added to that is like this doomsday mechanic. So when you hit this threshold, the vehicle catches fire, and it's very much, you've got a certain amount of health or a certain amount of time, and you got to choose what you want to do with the last minutes of this vehicle.
We've got a cousin to the Warthog.
How's that different? You got to get out, or you die in an explosion.
Multi-storage compartment that you can put a lot of stuff into. So if you want to put like detached turrets, power weapons, fusion coils, objectives, and that is what's really making the Razorback kick a lot of butt in MP and campaign.
That's kind of cool.
The levels define pace for the game, how frantic it is, and they define that iconic fantasy for players as they're entering that match. What do they want to do? What type of experience are they hoping to have? What kind of combat, what kind of dance floor is there available to have that combat in?
There's also
for me,
dance
BTV is all about experiencing the full extent of the sandbox of Halo in...
Yes, they have to mocap all the dancing, the teabagging. You have a dedicated teabag room to capture the perfect mocap for teabagging.
And just turn the volume up Vehicles are no longer just spawning at bases anymore. We have Pelicans delivering them, and we have a commander in your ear telling you that Pelicans are going to be dropping off these vehicles.
Scorpion tank is inbound.
We have Halo 2 style Delta Halo mission weapon pods that fall from the sky to resupply the field.
That's where it makes it feel like a real battlefield, and it's very exciting.
Although so far, I mean, I like that they stuck to the core of what made the game so great. It still looks a little too iterative. Like, I'm trying to see like what else is new. Like, just like the balance is hard. You have to be able to keep the core gameplay intact for the fans to be happy, but there's still got to be a couple of new things. I want to see new weapons, new vehicles.
One that fits their personality and their mood the best.
They add to the sense of like me as a Spartan being more
That's an
important
interesting
and
idea.
for us in multiplayer.
But that
it's
doesn't
really
change
about
gameplay
becoming
either.
A Spartan, you're Spartan. You are you inside of the Halo universe.
The body of customization content that we have on day one ensures that there will be millions of customization combinations for Spartans on the battlefield. That includes things like armor coatings, armor emblems, various armor effects, down to the individual armor pieces. So your shoulders, your gloves, your knee pads, your helmet,
Again, these are just
visor, your
visuals.
helmet attachments. Then you look at weapons, and we've got a whole slew of customization offerings there. Vehicles have a huge pool of customizations too. We support customization in the game. Players can do the same thing on HaloWaypoint.com as well as the Halo Waypoint app.
The player also customizes the Spartan, the soldier inside the suit. We want the Spartan to...
It does matter when you play.
No, I think because they want to have balance, it's just visually looks cooler, but it doesn't give you any additional powers.
Right, but as a gamer, I guess it depends on a gamer, right?
Depends on the game, yeah. In
Do you
certain
want-
games where you want to be fair, you don't want anyone to start with unfair advantage. That's the big thing about Halo. It always felt very balanced. It always felt very fair, except for the effing snipers. People who have too good of a name, freaking hate them.
Never be taken away from you. And what I mean by that is once you buy it, it's yours and does not expire. In future seasons, you can purchase old battle passes as well as the current battle pass and choose which battle pass to put your progression towards.
All of these rewards are single source, so you're never going to be confused about where things come from.
He said you never get confused.
I'm confused. Your battle pass never expires, but you could buy a future one instead of the past one to what?
All customization is just cosmetic.
Every season will have its own theme.
That's
and
really
introduce
cool,
new
though.
components, new
It is,
looks,
yeah.
new gameplay for players, new opportunities to earn and collect cool rewards. We've seen the Samurai already. That's one of our event armor cores. And that's going to be something that
looks cool.
players can earn through gameplay for free.
With us going free to play for the multiplayer part of the game, like that was a big goal because, you know, how do we have a way we can always bring players in, right? And they can, when we have a new update, they'll just dip their toes in if they even just want to see it.
Not only we
Whoa,
free
wait,
to play,
wait.
but we're free to play on PC as well as console. And what that
Does that mean
means
you don't
is
have to buy it?
we're able to get the biggest audience we've ever had.
So it's
Everybody
free?
gets to play with no barriers. And even
thought you
better, your
still had to
progression
buy
carries from one
The
platform
original
to
Halo
the next.
game. I'm
Getting
not
our game
keeping
to
up with
be
what's been going on here.
PC and console at the same time is an amazing chance for us to really just kind of excite new players about the game. How can we do things like make cross-play interesting and like even in just customs, being able to just play with your friends that like some people have PC.
Wow, that office looks like it's been stripped of all furniture. That's a reason not to go back to work.
Sad.
I know. It looks like a prison.
Is a place that you can go.
Prisoners who have to
within
sit around and
MP
make toys
to
for
kind of
kids
onboard
and get
into the
paid 12
experience.
cents
It's
an
great
hour
for
kind of thing.
Newer players who are still picking up the controls, and also people who want to warm up before they head into matchmaking. It's a series of experiences.
She designed
both
this?
a tutorial to get started for the first
The
time, weapon drills to
Guess so.
practice with specific items,
Location.
and also training mode that you can use to just get warm, explore the game as you want to.
For players who are new to Halo, let's help them learn what this universe is about. Some of these characters, what are they about? And help them kind of know the vocabulary that people have been speaking for now almost 20 years so that when they come in there, they don't feel like they're behind everyone else.
No. There's an economy.
That's for you, baby. Don't fail now. Don't fail.
Kind of provide a good training partner for wherever you're at in the experience.
partnering with our players on the road to launch.
You know what? This would be brilliant. They honestly should call it something totally different. Treat it like two separate games, right? Halo, the core game, the campaign, which I love. It's probably one of the best first-person shooter campaigns ever. But if this is truly a free-to-play Halo game, you know, sell it as such, because I was confused. I thought it was still the same thing. This, if you're telling me this is free and it's a reason to get an Xbox, I can see people going like, boom, this is the reason I will buy an Xbox now. Ship them over being a PS, fanboy.
We feel like we've got a pretty good selection at launch and what's going to be there for our fans. And this isn't going to be something that is just a static set of items. We have some new stuff in the works already, and just can't wait to really get into that as soon as this game comes out.
New maps, new modes, new ways to customize your Spartan. Launch is just the beginning. Now we're just going to be able to talk, interact more frequently, and that's just going to be great. That is the future of Halo Infinite multiplayer.
Thank you to the community for all their feedback over the years so far, and I'm looking forward to the road to launch itself,
because he's the one who's got to sit there and listen to all the fans yapping, like what I love, what I hate, mostly what I hate, trolling. This doesn't work, that doesn't work, and then he's got to find a way to tell the developers that their baby is ugly. You need to get a nose job. You need to work on his grades. You need to.
God.
That's I always say that's by far the toughest job.
Really?
Yeah, more than what I've ever done, and I've been.
It's
a
like
game
absorbing.
designer, I've been
You
a marketer.
absorb, and then at the same time you were like, well, how am I going to?
Oh, it's even worse, right? You have to like sit there and take it, the abuse. But when you respond, you have to be like, okay, yes, you're right. Thank you. Thank you for bitch slapping me, for treating me like crap. You're right, the game, we will fix it. And then telling the developers, by the way, this is what the fans are saying. It's not what me is saying, but like, your baby's ugly. And the developer's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm just saying.
But developers should not get mad at him.
You know what? This was there's some developers who get very attached to who don't want to hear that. It's hard to hear something like that when you spend like years of your life on it. But second, a lot of these things developers know about, right? The problem is it's hard to prioritize when you have a backlog of like 50 things. Like when you launch a game, there's never enough time to get everything done that you want to get done. You know it's going to be deficient. And so it's always a sense of trade-offs. And even the games that are launched and years past, like The Witcher, right? When I was playing it, it took years for them to fix that, which is why I'm thinking like for Cyberpunk, it's going to be years before they fix the game, like most of it. And they will never get to 100%, but most of it. So for something like this, you're just constantly hearing about it for even years after you launch until you finally get it in. And guess what happens when you get it in? They've already moved on to the next thing they want to complain about, right? It just gets more and more minutia. It's something else. It's like marrying a girl who doesn't know when to stop like complaining about you, and you fix everything about you, and she finds something else to complain about you, and it's 10 years into marriage, and you're like, what do you do, right? There's always something that you can complain about somebody. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my. Wow, you gotta have to be tough as community manager. Then.
The toughest. You have to have a Zen-like persona to be able to handle it,
and to be able
you have to be able to negotiate. Negotiation, number one sort of thing is be able to have that, especially for a multiplayer game like this where it's such a fluid thing. It's not like a designer says, "This is my story I want to tell." Really, it's the experience that the people want to have, and you're trying to design towards that without breaking things. So. Yeah, that I don't have flashbacks for. I feel bad for my people on my team who had to go through that. But, this game looks good, though.